Hi there, this is Crystal Diamond. I'm just going to share with you how to make wool dryer balls. I had posted today on Facebook about how my wool dryer balls were disappearing and how they must be running off with my socks. And a lot of you asked me, well, what are they? What do they use for? Some of you already use them yourself, and a bunch of you asked me if I could share how I make them. So I'm going to do that with you. They're great to use. I have been using them for years. We don't use fabric softener or dryer sheets. And so you're reducing the cost of buying those things, but also the chemicals that are in them. And those things also can affect the absorbency of your towels, which wool dryer balls do not do. The dryer balls also reduce the drying time significantly, which saves on the cost of electricity and the resource for electricity. They also help with static, and they make your clothes kind of like puffier, floofier, the things like nice and soft. And I put essential oils on mine, so they have a nice scent as well. So they're very easy to make. I've been making them for a couple years now. I think the last batch we made was when I was pregnant with Jasmine last October, and I would just kind of balled up on the couch in the middle of the night, and it's like this repetitive hand motion, so it's very relaxing and calming. You don't really have to think about it. And I just sat there and I made a bunch for us, and I actually made a bunch as gifts as well and gave them for the holidays that year, which we'll probably do again this year. So I'm gonna get my yarn, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do this. Okay, so here's my yarn basket. I have a bunch of different kinds in here. All the ones that are in here actually right now all are wool yarns, and that's what we want. I have a bunch of unfinished projects in here as well. So you're gonna wanna just find a color that you like, and then make sure it's 100% wool. So like this brand here, the Patons Classic Wool, it's a worsted wool, and you can see that it's 100% wool, and that's what you want. You don't want any blends. The blends will not really work for the felting part. So yeah, you'll just pick one out, the color that you like when you go to the store, and we'll use that. The only other thing that some people do use are crochet needles. I don't use one. And the other thing you will need will be a pair of old pantyhose. So I have this old pair here. I don't wear navy pantyhose. So what you'll end up doing when you are all done making the balls is I cut off one of the legs right here, and then you'll put a ball into the leg, and then you'll take a piece of yarn and tie it around. Put another ball in, tie it. Put a ball in, tie it. And that's how you're going to throw it into the wash, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So this was the blue yarn, the 100% yarn that we chose. And I can't remember 100%, but I want to say that I think I usually buy 2 balls of yarn, and it makes about 3 to 4 balls for me. So I usually throw about 4 to 6 balls in with a load, although they're starting to disappear, so I need some more. So to start, I'll just pull up some of this, and we're just going to get it going. So what I typically do, and there's other ways to do this if you have another way and you want to share something that's easier in the comments or on my Facebook, that'll be great. I could always learn something new. But I take it like this, as you see here, and I just wrap it around my fingers a few times, just like this. Okay? Then I just pull it off my finger, and I take the piece that was around and wrap it down the center. So you see how I'm wrapping that around the center? And then you just keep wrapping and wrapping and wrapping. And then you'll slowly start to, once you start getting it wrapped around, it doesn't have to be pretty. It'll start to kind of go over the piece. You see how that's like just kind of a little ball forming? And just keep going. No rhyme or reason to it. You just keep going. So this is why I normally just sit on the couch and just kind of do this with my feet up, and you can watch something on TV, put something on the diffuser, relax, and we just keep on going and going and going. So I've gotten this one pretty big. I usually make it a little smaller. I probably make it normally like the size of like between a small and a medium apple. But I didn't have any more of this yarn, so I figured I would just finish up this one. And they do shrink quite a bit when you wash them. So what I do, some people take like a crochet needle here and take it and they dig it in to get the yarn inside here. But what I do is I just take the yarn, you can see this, and I just use my fingers and I go underneath layers. So I just go under this layer here. Okay, and then I'll go over on this side right here and just take like a little loop and like dig it under and pull it through. And then I just go around the whole piece doing that, just kind of looping it underneath, and it's just holding the yarn down. So once we throw it in the wash and it felts, it sticks together. So see, pull that through there. I'll go a few more times. Some of my pieces are, and like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect because, one, it's a dryer ball, but it gets felted. So let's go under this piece here, and then I'll just take this last one through here and push it in like that. Okay, so here's our ball. And then what you want to do is you want to put this in the wash cycle for just, it could be a quick cycle, but you want hot water, okay? And that kind of felts it, and it just makes the yarn it kind of seeps together, like holds together. And every time you wash it, it actually gets more and more together, and it gets a little bit smaller. Yep, so this is the final product before it goes into the warm wash cycle. And this is kind of what it looks like. I showed you earlier, but what it looks like when it's done, it gets a really small and tight, and there's like no individual yarns. You can't grab anything, unlike this one. So that's what felting does. And as you can see, it kind of gets smaller as well. I think I initially made these a little bit smaller, but kind of comparable. So yeah, they're very soft. The cat loves to play with them, which maybe that's actually where they're going. They fall out and she plays with them and they're hiding somewhere. And then I also take essential oils and put a few drops, usually like lemon on here, lavender, and then I throw it in. I usually throw about 4 to 6 of them in with a cycle. And yeah, that's it. That's how you do it. Nice and easy. I get my yarn all over the place, but I get it at Michael's a lot of the time. I pull it up Michael's on my phone, and they have coupons, and then I take a picture of the coupon and use that for like 20% off. They'll only let you use one, unfortunately, so sometimes I'll go back a couple times. But I think Walmart might have yarn as well. I don't tend to shop there too often, but I think they have some yarn. You just want to make sure it's that 100% wool yarn. You don't want to blend. There's lots of blends where it might have rayon or cotton blends, and you don't want that because it won't felt. It won't do this. It won't have that same absorbency, and it won't help reduce drying time, and it'll just be like the soppy wet thing in there. So you want that wool yarn. But yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave me a comment below the video here, or on Facebook you can find me, or we're already friends. Just you can send me a message, and if you make them yourself and you have any suggestions or you do something differently, I would love if you would share as well. So thanks.